Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Welcome back to the No Nonsense podcast, where you get an inside look into the mind of Milo. I just made that up. That's not what this podcast is about. It's about everything. It's about anything. And it's also today about the guest that I have with me, who I've been working with for several years. I've been friends with for even longer. And I want to unpack a lot of the stuff that's buried in that man's mind. So without further ado, I want to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Joey Conway. How's it going, Joe?
Hey, what's up, lads? It's going good. This is exciting.
Hell yeah. I have known you since when?
2011.
Oh
July, August 2011, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were little babies. We were little babies back then.
Yeah. And I feel like our YouTube careers were kind of starting in kind of similar ways. Like we were kind of building momentum in similar channels and stuff like that. And I remember back then, one of the first things that Joe and I maybe talked about or something, I don't recall exactly, but we got our first YouTube AdSense checks at like the same time, right?
Yeah, we did. January 2012. I think we both got partnered by Machinima in like November of the last year, right? We both got partnered at the same time. We both got paid our first paychecks. Do you remember yours?
It was like $10 or something.
Yeah, and I got like $20. So
yeah, and I remember being like really jealous that you got $20 and I got 10. I was like, damn you, Joey Conway, man.
Yeah, and now I'm on your payroll. So, you know,
yes,
things happen quick.
I mean, quick is one way to put it when it's been so long. Something
feels quick.
Yeah, something Joe and I were saying just before we started here is wild to think Cold War came out 4 years ago. That's terrifying. Mm-hmm. Where's the time gone?
It doesn't make any sense. And we were working together on Cold War as well.
Yeah, so
just like this year.
The timeline to bring people up to speed on that is that Joe and I, like we said, like friends since the sort of early 2010s, but you kind of stopped focusing on your own content and your own channel when, like Black Ops 3 kind of era? Like when do you feel like that?
A little bit before Black Ops 3, sometime like 2013, 14, I really started to slow down. And then come Black Ops 3, I'm like, yeah, I can make content. And then I never stuck with it. I didn't focus on it. It wasn't like I was waking up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm going to make like this, this, and this. You know, I wasn't about the launch stuff for myself. I was more about like the modding scene and custom zombies and stuff. So I never really got into launch stuff. And yeah, so I kind of fizzled out. And then I started working for you a little bit. Zombies Chronicles, I think might have been the first time.
Oh, damn, I forgot. Yeah, that would have been the first in 20... When even was that? 17?
17, yeah. We did some Origins stuff together, I think. I don't know if we did anything else, but I think it was Origins.
Yeah, because it was you and Liam. Both.
Oh, Liam was there too.
Yeah, Liam was helping with those as well. Because I remember super clearly, Liam put together, I think it was like a transition screen with like a list of steps or something in one of the guides. Maybe it's the Origins main quest guide. And I remember getting that part of the edit back from him and just being like, Liam, you're good, man. You're damn good. Like, I'm out here. At the time, I might have still been using Sony Vegas. I don't know. I hope not. I hope I was on Premiere at that point. But I've never been downloading asset packs and using plugins and Mr. Horse here and After Effects there. And like, I've never bothered because my sort of video content creation philosophy is very much like, if it's not gonna immediately move the needle in favor of making the video better from a performance perspective, then it's going to take a lot of convincing for me to still want to do it. So all those things I just thought were unnecessary is a harsh way to put it, but unnecessary for my goals.
Right.
But then Liam turned that video in and I was like, damn, that looks good. What the hell? Okay.
Your eyes were opened. A new door was opened.
Yeah. And so then you guys also worked with me for Black Ops 4 launch.
Yeah, which was one of the most hectic months of my life. I went out to the UK, me and Liam. We were in a room in Milo's flat and just editing away and following the whole scene and supporting Milo's streams and giving him little tidbits, and he'd come off stream and go record an audio real quick that we wrote a script for, and like just the back and forth in Black Ops 4 launch was crazy.
How do you like much. Obviously there's stuff to do with like obviously you from the East Coast, so you were far from home, and like was that your first time out of the country?
Yes. Yeah. First time going to a new country. Yeah.
Damn, that's so like there's obviously a lot of those sorts of things, but then also just from a content machine perspective, we were doing stuff that very few other channels, especially in zombies, but even just more generally, very few achieve the level of fluidity and dynamism and just operational, I would say, excellence that we achieved during Black Ops 4. Like, we crushed it. And I look back on that period and I was like, I just always think, like, how do we pull that together? Like, how do we do that? We're just a bunch of kids in a room with more tech than we can kind of like count on two hands.
Yeah.
And I mean, how do you feel looking back on the sort of work we did in that period, sort of separate to the like travel stuff, separate to that stuff just for now? Like, what do you sort of remember from that time?
I remember just, it was long days, man.
Yeah.
We were just there. Me and Liam in the same room together. You were just a couple rooms away.
Yeah.
And
because we had a server to pass files between each other, right?
We did. Yeah. There was a local server. We would pass all the files into there so we didn't have to download or upload anything. And then, I don't know. It was just like, there was just so much going on all the time, just like constant communication between everybody. And it's just like, I had Liam on my right giving me pointers on certain things, and like he was doing a lot of the thumbnail stuff, and like I was jumping into game, and like I was covering one of the maps, you were covering another map, and then it turns out like 9 is being solved right now. And like Liam wasn't working on 9 at the time. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to jump into the edit. And I had no idea what to do. Like, I had never played the map before. So I never played 9.
Context here is that I had been playing, I guess, Blood, maybe?
I think I was on Blood of the Dead. And I think you were doing, like, you were on Voyage. Liam was doing a lot of Voyage stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm not exactly sure where your streams were, but I think Voyage was, like, assumed, like, oh, crap. Like, this is going to be one of the bigger ones. You might have been doing Blood at the same time. I don't know. Yeah,
I think Voyage was also, there was a lot of progress very quickly. And so everyone was like, oh, Voyage is about to get solved.
Oh, okay.
But then, so I'd been focusing on that for whatever it was the first day. And then I got a message from Smart Guy being like, hey, do you want to jump in and play 9? And we jumped in and played the map once. I believe, if my memory serves, I jumped in with Smart Guy, played the map once, sort of to learn it for like 45 minutes. And then our next game, we finished the Easter egg. And we were first in the world.
That's crazy. Yeah. I didn't realize that you only played it that one prep time.
I forgot about that. If my memory serves, it was something like, it was a crazy fast turnaround because I hadn't been playing it prior.
I wouldn't doubt it because we assumed it was going to be the smallest spectacle of the whole map launch because there were 4.
Yeah. And like people thinking like Blood of the Dead is going to be huge. Like people are going to be obsessed with Blood of the Dead, surely, right? And then I so distinctly remember also, I think JC and someone else, maybe Red Austin's 27, I'm not sure, maybe Reed, had been grinding 9 to try and figure out this one step that had gone unsolved still. It was the cleansing the blight step with the Darnu area. And they'd been stuck on it for like 12 straight hours. And JC had been like banging his head against the wall. And I think what it was is that as soon as that step either got solved or it was about to be solved, that's when I jumped in game the first time. And then everyone got stuck on another step. And that's the one that I solved first on stream, where you had to line up shooting the Circuit's Kiss, I think it was called. And then obviously we got boss fight, and this is one of the things that's crazy about Black Ops 4, is that despite all of the data mining, despite all of that stuff that happens in the community, nobody knew there was going to be a war elephant boss fight. Like,
you guys freaked out when they came out, man. You guys were so hyped. Which was crazy.
Yeah, like that kind of level of surprise reveal, something we just don't even get these days because they market the boss fight before the map comes out. Like, if the boss in Terminus is a big tentacle monster, like the one that they showed at the end of that one teaser where Kevin Drew was like, you never know, there might be some bigger things in the water. If they've just already shown it, they've just repeated the mistake that they made with the worm boss fight in Modern Warfare 3, and it sucks. Like, let it be a surprise. I wish they would have more confidence in the community for that sort of thing.
Yeah. A lot of the marketing has turned into just like showing us a bunch of things, but that's kind of how game marketing is just where it's turned.
Yeah. It's definitely gone in more of a, they market zombies more like the way they market the other modes.
Yeah.
And some of the old, like, do you remember the letters from the field with Origins? This is a deep cut.
I don't.
Okay.
You're gonna have to explain to me.
So, first of all, before Origins came out, they tweeted out a picture of the devs working on the map, and the caption of the picture was something like, we were there at the beginning and at the end. Something like that. That caption ended up being the key you needed to use to solve one of the Origins ciphers.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
That's sick.
Amongst that stuff, that same time period when they were tweeting out certain things, they tweeted out a handwritten note from each of the characters, all on their quest towards northern France. So this is technically, in the zombies story canon, this is some of the earliest information we have about the Primus crew. Like, there is very little info that we know prior to them all coming together in northern France for the first time. But there's stuff in there being like, yes, like, my unit have sent me in this direction, and like, I've heard reports from HQ that there's robots walking around and like this sort of stuff. And like, I, as Dempsey, am gonna sort of oorah my way through it. And then obviously there's one from Nikolai that's talking about the Red Army and like all those sorts of things. That kind of marketing, where they just had an artist put together these handwritten messages and tweet it out, and like that was how they breadcrumbed the community. So cool. And I'm not saying that the stuff that they do nowadays is like objectively bad, but it's obviously very different when their like ARG that they did this time round was basically them being like, here is a TV
we have
screen.
A website.
Yeah, it's have a website, and then on the website there is a TV screen which shows a 10-second video of the Gobblegum machine.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, that is fine.
It's cool.
It's cool. It is cool.
But
yeah. And I miss those days, but also in some ways I'm like, I'm just glad that we were there. Like, I'm glad that we got to experience that.
Yeah. We got to experience GK Nova 6.
Bro.
And
like,
that was one of the craziest marketing things I've ever seen. I was like, how old was I? 13? 14?
Damn.
You know? Like,
yeah.
It was so cool.
I think that GK Nova 6 was the reason I'm here today, to be honest. I think that without GK Nova 6, I don't think I have this career. I don't think I care about zombies nearly as much as I do. I think that I was so blown away by what they did there that I think it made me realize this wasn't just a fun video game. This was a real cultural moment and movement that I just couldn't get enough of. Like, I wanted to drink from the fire hose of Treyarch's insanity. Were you ever on CODs back in the day?
I was not.
Okay.
I was not on CODs.
So,
but I went on like the official forums, but I don't think it was CODs.
Were you ever on
like
We
the
the
official
Gamers?
like Activision ones? It sounds familiar.
Okay, because there were a few fan forums, and then there was the Activision forum.
Okay.
At some point, I don't know when the Activision forum really sort of got moving. It was a very different vibe over there.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, back in the day, forums were a big thing. Nowadays, it's just Reddit and Twitter.
Yeah,
That's it.
Reddit's the lab. They're the last ones.
Yeah, man. But yeah, those days of theorizing on there and finding community. That's how I met Liam, actually, was through CODs.
Yeah. There's a lot of you through CODs.
I really remember, I think the first video I ever saw of Liam, he was playing Deriz on World at War, if I remember right. And it was something like that, at least. Or maybe we collabed on Deriz. I don't know. Either way, I remember being like, oh, you're from the UK. Like, we should do something together. And it's so wild to think that just as a, whatever I was, like a 13-year-old or whatever age, I don't remember, the sort of sending of a random message on a random forum to a random stranger back then turned into like one of the closest friends I've had on YouTube over the years. Like that is...
Isn't that just wild? There's so many little coincidences like that, and like the way that everybody has met each other online is just such a wild story how it's all come together. So many friends from over the years.
It also is weird to think about how had the zombies story and had zombies as a mode just been a normal video game, literally none of those things would have happened.
I know.
It was so dependent on zombies being nuts.
Yeah. With the GK Nova stuff, like on the Activision forums, at least, like I remember talking about that. So like if I had found CODs instead, like I would have been right there with you.
Yeah.
I was talking about that stuff. People are like, Ebola, it spells Ebola, like with the numbers. It's like, what? It's so crazy. And if anybody listening like hasn't seen what GK Nova 6 even looks like, just look up a YouTube video.
Honestly, I think
so cool.
I have a video from like 15 years ago where I'm breaking it down, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Or at least, no, I think I wasn't able to do video breakdowns at the time. I think my computer was too bad and I didn't have a microphone.
Oh no. Okay.
And so I think I just screen recorded it and uploaded it to YouTube. I think that's the whole video. It's literally just like 90 seconds of a website, me recording a website.
You should do a breakdown today. GK Nova 6 breakdown 20 years later.
Guys, it looks like Hudson is turning into a zombie in the corner. Like, whoa.
Oh God.
So that wasn't even GK Nova 6 though at that point. That was when it then became the zombies menu in Black Ops 1, right?
Yeah.
I don't recall if they also did that on GK Nova 6.
I'm not sure. I remember seeing a lot of creepy crawlies.
Yeah, there was a similar screen. It was very cool.
Yeah, it was like all the same screens as the menu. And
it's inspired me to this day. Like I when I just think of cool marketing, it's just one of the first things that pops into my head. I love GK Nova 6. And I mean, there's cool stuff that they've done more recently, like the sort of seeming reference to this real life town that they've got in the game. So context for people that aren't sure what I'm talking about here. Basically, in Black Ops 6, we know there's this town called Liberty Falls, right? That's one of the launch maps. Liberty Falls was teased at the end of the Modern Warfare 3, what was it, Season 5 Reloaded, basically end of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, the final cutscene. The last thing you see is this town of Liberty Falls. It's this sort of painting of Liberty Falls. And it's weird because I saw Smart Guy, actually, bringing Smart Guy back up again, he tweeted that picture of Liberty Falls from the ending of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, but then he tweeted the like real life location of it, and it's like identical. And so I was looking at that, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is weird. This is like jogging a memory for me. I go in my camera roll on my phone, and there's a picture of me, like, with this exact same view. Like, it is quite literally identical, and it's right behind me, and I'm just standing there in front of it. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm so confused. I don't know. Do you know what the deal is with that?
I mean, I know exactly what this is. However, I just need to ask you one favor.
Okay.
Don't ask me any questions about it. Okay? Is that good?
As in, I don't have to ask you questions about the favor, or I'm just not allowed to ask you questions, period?
You're not allowed to ask me questions.
Okay.
The questions are over.
Questions are over. Okay.
Questions are over.
You tell me when questions can resume, but I guess I'll just listen for the time being. Okay.
Well, I mean, listen, man. You went to old West Virginia, all right, on a quest. You were sent out there by this mysterious group, and you had a bunch of tea leaves you were following, some Easter eggs. You were finding things in real life, and eventually it brought you to that place. But throughout that, I was one of your mules, helping you put together this series.
I'm still not allowed to ask questions?
No.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough. All right.
No questions.
Okay.
You sit right there. You listen. All right. This is class time. All right.
Okay, that's classified.
Yeah. So this dude's running through the woods, and he's like, "Well, I gotta upload footage." So like, he needs editors, and there's like me and a whole edit team going through passing projects back and forth, editing this whole thing together to get it up on YouTube in time so that people can see these clues and whatnot that he was going through and lead him in the right direction for a bunch of things. So it was overall just a very hectic experience for everybody involved. And Milo just went on this whole thing that he barely even remembers. He has things in his camera roll, but dude went to literally went to Liberty Falls, and which is awesome. And I am so excited for this next game. Because I don't know what the hell went on there, but we put together this whole series and it was a good time.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna.
You can break.
I gotta ask just one or two questions. I'll be like, clearly you're gonna get in trouble if you answer my questions, maybe, or I don't know. So
maybe
I'm gonna be safe here. So you're telling me that there was a travel series.
Yes.
Was it like, were you posting like daily videos or something? Like, what was the like?
Yeah, daily videos of like 30 plus minutes long. You get into some trouble, and
so you're telling me that I would vlog during the day. I would do the travel video during the day.
Yes.
And then you would turn that around with other people, other editors as well. Yeah?
Yes.
And you turn that around same day, and then we would post it like the day I was doing that stuff or like the next day. Is that right?
Yeah. It was like same day, next day type of stuff. And a focal point in your vlogs here was getting to a library to upload files to us. So you were doing it every single day. It's part of your trek.
Jesus Christ. Because I've seen people in my comments be like, oh, like the like quest Milo went on, like he recorded something a month ago. And I'm like, what? Like, I can remember where I was like a month ago. I don't think I was doing anything a month ago. So I think people have assumed that it was like whatever this was is something that was like, it was shot in 2023 or like something like that. But you're telling me that like the days the videos were going up were like the same days.
Yes.
That it was all bit, Jesus Christ. Are you good?
Same days.
It must have been a lot of work.
No, and you know what was even crazier?
What?
In the middle of it, I get sent to this location because it's near my house.
Huh?
And I had to go solve a puzzle for you to get some coordinates, for you to get something else, to get a dead drop, and then somebody chased me, and I had to come back the next day, dog. You didn't make my life any easier. In fact, you just made it harder every single day.
Damn. I'm sorry, bud.
No, it's okay. We made it out of it, all right?
Okay,
good content.
Well,
you made some good content that you don't know about, so yeah.
Cool. I guess like I can't be mad about that. It's like you wake up one day and someone's like, "Yeah, good video yesterday, bro," and you're like,
"Yeah,
I didn't make a video yesterday, but I'll take it." Like,
right, exactly.
Dang. So that was the sort of a similar level of hecticness then maybe to some of the Black Ops 4 launch type stuff. Just like passing stuff back and forth, lots of rushing to get stuff done, trying to sort of problem solve in the moment, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a lot of that stuff, and like it was just made worse because the internet was involved. We had to upload files. Black Ops 4, we had the luxury of not having to do all that. So it was even a little bit more hectic sometimes.
In Black Ops 4, that luxury of internet, that cost me so much money. Do you remember? The only way I could get good internet to that house, and it wasn't even that good. It was 100 download, 100 upload. It cost me, I can't even say the number. It cost me 10 grand.
Yeah. Remember you telling me about that beforehand? You're like, I have this investment of 10 grand in the internet. I'm
like, what? And so
dude, I had to get new wires ran.
Yeah, I had to get wires run in the road outside.
Oh my god.
And like in the UK, that's not a thing. Like especially in a city, no one is digging up publicly owned road. Like you can't do that. So I had to get like a government grant. It would have been more expensive. I got a government grant for it. It's like it was so insane. Like I look back on Black Ops 4 and people think, oh yeah, like you're just a YouTuber that's just in their room making a video. And I'm like, you have no idea how much money and time and effort and blood, sweat and tears people like myself, people like Joe as well, pour purely into trying to make free, fun videos for people.
Yeah.
Like, people have no idea. It's nuts.
It's true.
Was it this more recent travel stuff? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was really fun. It's fun to do all that like really quick, fast paced, like huge turnaround stuff. Launch is always really exciting because it's like, dude, we got to get this out. And like there's this whole one concerted effort towards one goal, and it's to getting the content out, and that's always really fun. So the whole Dias Cast saga being like that
rings a bell.
Was just it was just fun. I'm glad it rings a bell.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed this.
I did.
Period in my memory that I have no recollection of, but
a little lapse, but that's all right.
Yeah. And speaking of launch, the sort of machine of my channel and my content output this year is going to have to deal with the fact that unlike Modern Warfare 3 and unlike Cold War, we have 2 maps to contend with again.
Yeah.
Which is both exciting and from an operations perspective, kind of terrifying.
Very terrifying. It's very terrifying to think about because it's like, am I going to just jump on a different map again? And then am I going to edit the Easter egg guide for Terminus? Like what's going to happen?
Yeah, I don't know if we even finished the story fully for what happened on 9. Basically, I'd been playing another map. And so because I jumped onto 9 and then solved it straight away, no one else on the team was ready for me to have solved it. So we didn't have anything good to go. We just had what I'd recorded. So Joe pulled my recordings off my PC through the server onto his editing PC in the other room. And then he was looking at a map that he didn't know how to even get around. He didn't know where the perks were. And he was trying to cut up Easter egg steps. Like, can you imagine how hard that would be?
I did like 20 minutes of the edit or something before you took over.
Yeah.
There had to be a couple things wrong, but oh my God, what a challenge. Nothing's ever taken me like that much blood, sweat, and tears to get through that many minutes of Easter egg footage, man. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how much was right, but it seemed to be all right.
Most of it was good.
There was one thing, right?
Yeah, there's one very small thing in our 9 guide, which is we could never have known that it was not like 100% the best way to explain it. And that's part of the issue, really, with doing these things first. Like, being first in the world actually has really negative consequences for YouTubers because you're put in this very tricky place of, do I play the map again here to make sure that I understand, like, are these spawns randomized? And does this boss fight change sometimes? And all those sorts of things. Or do I just make the guide with the recording I already have, save the extra couple of hours, and get it out first? And I'm sure a lot of the people watching right now would say, oh, well, the obvious thing to do is to play the map again and make sure your guide is correct. But historically, from a business perspective, that's actually not been the optimal path for a lot of other YouTubers. That was something that I feel like I kind of changed the trend with a little bit with my bow guides in DE, because other folks charged ahead. The first time they did the bows, they posted the guide straight away. I kind of triple checked those guides to make sure they were all fine. And that's why they blew up the way that they did. And I made them no nonsense.
The benefits.
Yeah. But prior to that, like, people were posting Easter egg guides with steps that were just wrong. Like, I'm not going to call anyone out here in particular, but there's multiple of like my friends who have posted Easter egg guides in the past on Black Ops 2 or even on Black Ops 3 as well. And they're including steps in the quest, which are just not part of the Easter egg. Like, and that's the sort of thing that you don't know if you're first. Like, that is nobody's fault. It's just that if you're first in the world, you don't have a second run to back it up. You don't have somebody else's reference run through the egg to check. Like, that's part of the reason why I edit a lot of my guides on stream these days, is because then it can be a communication with the audience, which, I mean, has its own consequences, implications. That's a whole can of worms. But, I mean, this year on launch, just to bring it back to that, we've got 2 maps to deal with. And I still don't know how we're going to approach that. I mean, do you have a feeling of like, if you had to take a guess right now, take a bet, place a bet, and chat, you can do this as well. How long is each map going to take to get solved?
Ooh, it's such a good question. I want them to take a long time. I want them to take a long time, but like not more than a few days. But like it would be interesting to have one that goes more than a day again.
Oh, it would be so nice.
Like not solved overnight either. Just like there's a whole second day.
Yeah.
You know, a whole second day. That would be really fun. The last time we really had one of those, Shadows of Evil. Or am I wrong?
I'm trying to
Revelations, maybe.
Oh, Rev. Hands down, Rev. Like, I mean, Rev was 9 days or something. But I also feel like Rev doesn't count because of the bone step. I think it's just like, it's in a class of its own.
It really is. The steps were so random on Rev.
Yeah,
like,
I don't remember.
Anyone.
Garrod, I think, was pretty fast. Zetsubo was definitely really fast because I was at the launch event. I just recorded my lightning round with Jason Blundell.
Really?
And before I got home, it had already been solved.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Zetsubo was fast as hell.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of steps. It's just kind of build some things and then you're off to the fight.
I think it was Javano and Starburst. I think it was that lot.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, I think they got it first. And yeah, they charged through it. They were very quick. Quick with it.
Shadows was funny because the step was right in front of us the whole time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't exactly like confusing or wasn't something that wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah.
It just, it was right in front of us for like almost a week.
I think also with Shadows, prior to that, we only really had Origins to go off of in terms of what the new type of quest design was like. And I don't think any of us were actually ready for what Shadows threw at us. Like,
no.
It set the tone for modern Easter eggs, I think, in a way that Origins, I feel like, didn't, because Origins still felt like an outlier at the time. Like, we didn't realize it was defining a new rule. Whereas the first map of a new game, you assume that it's going to set the standard that they're going to go onwards with. And so, yeah, I think part of it was just that we weren't ready for Treyarch to be that nuts.
Like, we weren't ready for the Jason regime to take over like that.
That's so true.
Yeah, they just brought boss fights, and then Drak was crazy. They had like a Destiny boss fight. That was nuts.
I still remember the first time people found out there was a wipe mechanic, and it was one of the coolest feelings just knowing that I was about to go into a battle that I might have only 90 seconds to survive before I get wiped from. Like, the stakes there, the tension, the real kind of emotional weight that places on you. So sick, man.
Yeah, you get quite a thrill out of doing those things then. It just feels like such a great reward when you finish. So those things are so awesome, and I'm glad they're a part of Zombies now. Yeah. And the
Treyarch team have said they think that the Easter eggs are going to be harder than Cold War. Like they've said that that's a design goal for them.
It's exciting.
Which is exciting, but this is Kevin Drew saying that they're going to be harder. And Kevin Drew made Zetsubo. And Zetsubo was solved in however long it was, 15 hours or something. And so, going back to our little bet, I think Treyarch thinks it's going to be a multi-day solve, but I think that they're underestimating the Zombies community a little bit, and I think they're still both going to be sub 24 hours.
Liberty Falls will be sub 24.
Unless they pull a classified.
That's true.
Yeah.
How long does it take to get to round whatever?
Yeah. Although, honestly, if the game is stable, which I think it will be, maybe not that long. So
That's true. That's true. It's just how long do the rounds take? Because I know they want to make higher rounds a little bit more difficult. So,
yeah.
I don't know. There could be a chance. Maybe Liberty Falls just goes to the next day because everybody is focused on Terminus and there's so much progress there.
Yeah.
That, like, it doesn't get solved the first day. But I think Liberty Falls will be first 24 hours. Terminus potential to go to the next day.
Yeah.
But
God, I
you're
hope.
probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
There's one element of Terminus which I think works in your favor for that prediction, which is that they have said that Terminus has either the most, or if not actually the most, close to the most side Easter eggs on any map ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so it's at least more than 10.
Yeah. And what that might mean is that we pursue a load of side Easter eggs thinking that they're main quest.
True.
And then it's like, oh, wait, hold on a second. We've gone down a dead end, or not a dead end, but the wrong end for 12 hours or something. And then everyone reverts back to the thing they should have been chasing, and then we solve it.
Yeah.
Like, that might help delay it a little bit, but I almost feel like that doesn't count. Like, I'm waiting for, like... Do you remember on Buried, when people didn't know... I think do you like crack the glass balls with the paralyzer or like something like that?
Something like that, right? Like that.
There's some step involving that.
Yeah.
I remember the community was stuck on that for a while. And then there was the guillotine step.
Yeah.
And the guillotine took a while as well. People were really struggling on that. Like that was if my memory serves, that was like half a day or maybe a full day.
Wow.
Like a full 12 hours just stuck on getting the guillotine to work properly. And then obviously people had the going back in time thing that took a while. Like, I mean, Buried was frantic, but even with all that said,
yep.
I don't know if it was more than a full day for the solve. I can't remember.
Really?
Because what I do remember is I was at college when it came out. I came home from college. I jumped on the map. I solved some ciphers for the community. And then...
of course.
It was me, Liam... Justin, and you? Or...
I wasn't in the game. No, it might have been Nick. Was it Nick?
Maybe Nick. Maybe. And we solved, I think, Richtofen side first. And... it was like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something. And I was so sad because I had to go to college in like an hour.
Oh my God.
So there was no way I could make a guide. So I think I sent all my footage to Liam. And I was just like, Liam, it's important to me that you are the first person to get a guide out right now. And so I'm pretty sure Liam's guide is like the guide for Buried Richtofen side, or at least the first one that was posted.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I actually can't believe that. I didn't know any of that lore.
I remember it being on Skype, and I so clearly remember the message at like 7 a.m. being like, Liam, you have to be first. Just like, promise me that you will be first. Yeah. Because we'd solved the Easter egg. It's just that at that point also, streaming was much less ubiquitous. And so if you didn't have a guide out, then there was a little bit more doubt about like, okay, well, have you actually done it? Like, obviously, you can post a screenshot maybe on Twitter, but it was just less easy. So, yeah, I was just like, you need to show him, Liam. You need to show him. But, I mean, I look back on every single, like, first in the world that I've ever had, and there's so many stories about the hunt and...
Oh, my God, yeah.
What went into it.
Team first in the world.
Team first in the world, man.
Team first in the world.
We've put numbers on the board over the years, like, in a quite funny way. Like, I think I counted up at one point, and across our group, so like not just like a team of 4, but the sort of group that regularly plays together, we've been first on like half the damn Easter eggs. Like
it's so wild.
Yeah.
So wild. Origins as well. And
Origins first, crying my eyes out.
Yep.
Yep. That's a classic. Obviously obviously not on Mob because I didn't even play Mob at the time.
You didn't even play Mob. You didn't upload a guide for Mob. There was nothing.
Yep, I didn't play Mob until years after it came out.
Yep.
And then I think when Jason first heard that, he was like, huh, okay, interesting.
Which is wild. It's such a good experience.
Yeah, man.
It really is.
Yeah, it's just, I don't, like, if you put me in Mob right now, I don't know my way around.
Right. You always disappeared in the springtime.
Yeah.
For exams. You would go and study, and we would miss you for a few months. Like, you were just gone. You were gone off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
You were very dedicated to school.
It was a really weird time for me because I put so much energy and effort into making content outside of that. And obviously, this wasn't my job at the time, right? So I was just an obsessed kid that liked doing this, neglected my schoolwork for 90% of the year. But I was also, not to toot my own horn, but I was also a smart kid. And so I would get to these periods of like exam windows, and I'd be like, I know if I just shut out the entire rest of the world and do nothing but study for like 3 weeks straight here, I know I can ace this test. And I basically just did that for my GCSEs in high school, for my A-levels in college, and then when I went to university, I basically did the same thing again, and I got a degree out of it. So like,
you had those really intense focuses on schoolwork. We used to miss Milo on our Skype calls back in the day, and we would have Milo Mondays. That's where that started. And we'd all put like a different picture of Milo as our Skype profile pictures, and we would celebrate on Monday. Because we were missing him.
They were good times. I remember really clearly, like once or twice, or maybe it was more than that, like seeing that you had done that and just being like, that's sort of, it's like a funny joke, sure, but it's also really sweet that I have these people that I've never met in person. They're on the other side of the world. The only connection we really have to each other, like the only reason we know each other is because of this video game. But like we have really become friends in a meaningful way, and that was just really nice to sort of not realize, because it's not like I was sort of blind to it before, but to just sort of see continued evidence of that. It feels good. It was a nice gesture of you guys to have your Milo Mondays.
We did miss you. We did. So
yeah, those Skype calls back in the day were
they were
a big part of how Joe and I have bonded over the years. They were fun.
Oh yeah, they were so much fun. The amount of people we would have in those.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It used to be a thing where like we would just sit on Skype for like 24 hours as well.
Somebody would keep the call running. Whoever, because you had to be a host of a call. It's not like Discord or anything else you can use today.
Yeah.
It's just like you had to be the host of a call. Other people would join, and then as long as you didn't hang up as the host, the call would keep going. So like, I don't know, one of ours went for like 300 something hours one time because our friend Brian is like, I'm going to leave my computer on. We're going to leave this call up for as long as we can. Yeah, it was like 300 something hours or something ridiculous.
Dude. Brian, that's a throwback. Brian is, some of you guys that have watched my channel for a very long time, you'll know Brian, well, you probably won't know this. Brian made the official MrRoflWaffles Call of Duty World at War custom map. That was him.
He did. He did. If you guys don't know anything about it, it's just like a bunch of floating waffle platforms.
Yep.
And zombies can run between the platforms, but you have to jump. So like the whole challenge is don't fall off.
Yeah.
So it was really hard, but yeah, he made that map.
Super hard map, and it's also, there's a Bible ending, and so you're obviously trying to point farm while jumping in that way. And I mean, I should do a video on it sometime. It was
you should.
But that was Brian. That was that. I always look back on that and think of him.
Of course, how could you not? Yeah, that group was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it also makes me think like how many people from the zombies community have kind of moved on from it since then. Like Brian is not in the zombies community anymore.
No, he's a nurse now.
Right. Amazing.
Working in a hospital.
Yeah.
It was quite funny actually. Back in the day, Brian, one more thing about him.
Yeah.
He always said he would be the world's first machinima doctor. He wanted to get partnered by machinima and become a doctor. And now he works in a hospital, so
hell yeah,
he's not halfway
dude.
there. Like, I don't know. It was just one thing he would always talk about.
Why did he want to bring those two things together?
I don't know, but he thought it was really funny. He's like, it would be really funny if I was the first machinima doctor.
I mean,
so
fair enough.
I don't think he's wrong. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty funny, I guess, if you're gonna frame it that way.
Yeah. And I guess we're laughing about it now. So he got what he wanted, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I have not. I have never forgotten about that. That was too funny.
Yeah. It was Resortified as well.
Resortified, yeah. Pagemon, who
Yep.
He was doing a lot of like Black Ops 2 guides.
Yeah. I remember that. He was popping off during like Transit, I think, as well. Like especially.
He was. Yeah, his channel started blowing up. Me and him were like a duo for a little bit. We would do everything together. In like 2011, 2012. And then like Black Ops 2 came out and he really focused on that. He was making guides. He was competing with you guys, honestly.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. But then he also just kind of left and he got a degree and he's successful now.
He's doing his own thing.
Yeah. I actually saw him for the first time a month ago.
Oh, hell yeah.
He was at my house,
Sweet,
which is really
man.
cool. First time in like a decade or something, which is
Oh,
awesome.
reunion. Amazing.
Yeah, so it was really cool. So a lot of these old guys, they've moved on.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys from the past, they've moved on, man, but we're still here.
We are. We're
Still hanging around.
for now.
For now.
So long as Zombies stays good,
Yeah.
I think we will. I don't want to sort of say anything too bold, but like I think it's much more likely that we will also be here.
Yeah, I mean, like, why not? If it's good, it's good. We're here.
Yeah, but if we get like a couple Vanguards back to back, then
then you kind of got to rethink your position in life and and move on.
Yep.
Next day, it's just not paying the bills. So
yeah,
like,
that's
what I'm
something
gonna
that
do.
I think a lot of people don't realize about being a YouTuber as well. Is like, so I have to support Joe's paycheck every month, and I have to support myself obviously with the content. I have to pay other editors. I have to pay thumbnail artists. There's like various like stuff that I sort of put channel income towards. And when you get a game like a Vanguard, it gets really scary because I'm like, hold on, this is really affecting like my cash flow. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do here. Yeah. And it adds this pressure where I want the game to be good primarily because I'm a fan, right? That is always the number one thing that affects any of my judgment is like, I'm a fan. I want it to be amazing for all of you guys playing the game as well and just everyone. But because this is my job, I have that much more of a focus on like every single thing that they do. Like if you asked every single human on the planet to give a comprehensive breakdown of like Call of Duty Zombies marketing and what is working and what's not working, I think like myself and maybe a handful of 20 other people or so that have been doing this for 15 years, like full-time, full focus, we're probably more qualified than 99.99999% of people to be able to speak on that topic.
Yeah. Which
is so weird because it all started with us just being fans in our bedrooms playing the game.
Exactly. When we were teenagers. It's crazy.
And nowadays it's like, okay, yes, I can gladly put together a 50-page report on why this marketing campaign is less effective than one you did 9 years ago. Like, that is
because you lived it.
Absolutely possible.
Oh God.
And it's the sort of thing that I look towards what they've done with Black Ops 6 so far, and
yes,
I've got to say, I think they've killed it this month.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah.
We've had so many years now where Zombies marketing has been quite painful to sort of live through. And there have been moments where Black Ops 6 marketing has also been a little bit like, ooh, I'm not sure about this. Like, you're kind of sweeping the always online thing under the rug and stuff like that. But there's a lot of good stuff that they've done this month. So like, much. It's kind of felt like Black Ops 3 to me, to be honest.
It has. It's been that level of excitement for me. Just seeing the Liberty Falls cinematic has just brought me completely in. Like, I'm just completely bought in.
Yeah.
Like, beforehand, like, I was there, but now I'm like, whoa, all right. As a fan, I feel like a fan again, and I feel like I'm proud to be a fan of the mode again.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm really excited for what they do and their plans, and like they've been kind of delivering. Modern Warfare Zombies was made by like how many people, right? Like I don't know how many people supported it afterwards, but like that last entity boss fight, that was sick.
Yeah.
The visuals were sick.
So true, actually.
Cinematics were incredible. And like just the whole game was a bunch of setup for this next one, but like it was so good.
Yeah.
Like in the end, it turned out really good, and that was just a side mode.
Yeah, so true.
Mode.
I think we need to work on like a retrospective video for Modern Warfare Zombies, probably.
Yeah.
Because it's had such a roller coaster over the year. Like
it has.
Launch
it really has.
Fire. Actually, launch was like pretty damn good, I thought.
It was.
And then Season 1 Reloaded, I think it was good as well with Red Worm.
I think it dropped with Season 1. Oh, right. Well, Season 1 just dropped with the Dark Ether, right? And then Reloaded dropped with the Red Worm. So like in Season 1, we got so much stuff.
Yeah, we were eating in Season 1, and then it just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
And I don't think it really recovered at all until the very last story mission, which I think is like a level above everything else that they did.
Definitely. Yeah. I have to agree. Like the stuff in between is forgettable, but like the end bits were really just foundational and held the whole thing up.
Yeah.
So like I look at it favorably now because of the complete package.
Yeah.
But you know, I do wish they had done more with the mode. I think it had more potential. But yeah, like overall, that setup into Liberty Falls cinematic, Terminus cinematic, those two things happening at the same time. If I'm not wrong. I think they're happening at the same time, right?
Yep, the exact same time.
Okay, yeah. And that cinematic, just like the background we got, the connecting to the last stories, and like we're finally getting into this like fantastical part of the zombies story that it doesn't really feel like was there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just the whole vibe, the DNA of the story, I think.
Yeah.
In Modern Warfare Zombies, it just didn't hit. It just didn't feel like it quite got there.
Right.
And I think a big part of why the Liberty Falls cinematic works as well as it does is because they finally, after years of saying this, they finally didn't assume that the player was an idiot watching that cutscene. They assumed that you might have a very limited amount, but still an amount of background knowledge to inform you about what was going on. Like, it wasn't this extremely laborious, like, oh, my name is Dr. Edward Richterfun, and I am the director of Project Janus, and Project Janus does this, this, and this, and it is based in this location. Like, they didn't need any of that stuff. Like, he's talking about Sam. They don't explain who Sam is. That's good.
Right.
It's zombies.
Zombies never explained anything to us.
Yeah.
Never.
Until Cold War, and then they were like, let's explain everything, bro. Actually,
exactly.
I lied. Until the timeline got released. I think that was the beginning of the end.
That's true. Yeah, they told us everything in between and connected everything, huh?
Yeah, and I like the timeline for some reasons, but I dislike it for that reason. I think that it was sort of anti-zombies in a sense. And then obviously, Cold War just doubled down on explaining everything, and I'm praying that we get a story this year where the Terminus crew are trying to take down Richterfun, but meanwhile, we're like, hold on, is Richterfun the good guy? Because, like, Weaver killed his kid, dude. Like, that's not his fault.
I like the conflict.
Yeah, it's and if they, so long as they don't laboriously drag us through, like, P.S., his name is Edward Richterfun. Oh, wait, did you not catch that? Oh, let me just reassure you, you know what's going on at all times. His name is Edward Richterfun. Like, I don't need that over and over again. And there was a little bit of that in the Terminus cutscene, which I was like, where they're all talking to each other in this jail area, but they're saying everybody's full names. Like, why, when Weaver has been locked up with Mac, aka Carver, for, 5 years, why is he saying, like General Major Carver, like, or whatever his like,
right. That
like
doesn't make any sense.
Mac Carver, like, why is he talking to him like that? He wouldn't even say his name probably. He would just be like, do this or do that or whatever. And that level of exposition, I get it. I can forgive it because first ever cutscene that they released for the new game. There's going to be some new people that are like, what the hell is going on here?
Well, and the characters look a little bit different.
That too.
Right?
Yeah.
They look a little bit different. So I understand it. They could have done it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
A little less. Maybe just use their first names.
Exactly. So I can forgive it in Terminus. What I think they did smartly in Liberty Falls, which I don't think anyone picked up on from a fan perspective, I think it's fine. But if you think about trailer construction and screenwriting, Richtofen tells you who he is by saying his name when he hits the button on the door.
Yeah.
And he doesn't awkwardly, like, the guy that he calls out into the corridor, right? That soldier that he saves with the Wunderwaffe. He doesn't say to that person, hello, I'm Dr. Edward Richtofen, and I'm the director of Project Janus. Because obviously in that context, it would be janky, and that's what they did with Terminus, and it was janky. But in this, they still found a way for him to say, my name is Edward Richtofen, and I am the director, but in a way where, from a ludonarrative harmony perspective, from a perspective of feeling like it's seamless, and you're just being given information that should be there instead of that you're being handheld through, perfect. Like, very, very smartly constructed. So I really appreciated that in that trailer as well. It was just like one more masterstroke to add to the list of masterstrokes that really went into it. Do you think it's the best cinematic of all time for zombies?
By
or no?
far the best cinematic. That's what I was about to say. Right? Like, it has to be.
Some people disagree, man. Some people are like, Origins intro.
Let me hear. Origins intro, okay.
And some people say mob. What was it? That one mob trailer? The
mob trailer is really good.
Yeah.
The intro is really good for mob. Okay. Fair enough. There's some points. Recency bias tells me that that's the best thing I've ever seen. But I have that feeling, so it's like somewhat real.
Yep.
But yeah, the how I feel going into this next game is just like exponentially better because of that cinematic. It's just it was just that good.
It's also nice because I've played the game and I didn't get that feeling from playing the game.
Right.
Because I was obviously like, it was a 45-minute session. It was a rush. I was focusing on like reviving randoms and like stuff like that. And so to be able to just sort of sit back and not even think about the game for a moment and just think about the story and actually be interested, that's a feeling I haven't felt in a while. So
yeah.
That's cool, man.
And some stuff you were saying with like the timeline and how they kind of filled all the gaps and stuff, and Zombies has always left us with questions.
Yep.
Back in the day, like I've been doing some research on World at War stuff, like way back to the roots. It's just like the devs didn't really know where they were taking the story. They kind of just followed what the community was talking about. What is the discussion in the community? We're going to put some conspiracies in there, some German conspiracies from back then.
Yep.
See what they run with. Let's give them some gaps. What do they put there? And that was a really exciting part of the zombie story back then, and probably what got you into it so much, and then GK Nova 6 stuff. But like the way they're approaching it today, I think is like the next best way to go about it. If they, don't explain everything to us, make it cohesive enough, because like it got a little bit crazy in Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
With the timeline and trying to follow everything that was going on.
Yep.
Makes sense why they told us what was going on. But like, I don't know. I'm just excited to see the new direction that they take it in and see if they can capture like that old, curious feeling that we had.
Like because, forcing you to be curious about info. It. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I miss that a lot. I miss the days of, I used to go on flights to capture events for Black Ops 3. And I would spend the entire 11-hour flight to Treyarch listening to quotes from the most recent Zombies map and transcribing them all. Like, I have hundreds and hundreds of pages of random, like, Zetsubo no Shima quotes that I've meticulously written out every character's lines by hand. Obviously, nowadays, AI could do that in, like, minutes.
2 seconds.
Yeah. But I would spend hours doing that stuff because I would be constantly searching for like, what if there's one line amongst these 100 pages, that's not an exaggeration, of quotes, what if there's one line that is worth making a video on? Like, we were obsessed with it back then.
Bunch of nerds, man.
Yeah, dude.
Just nerds. Yeah, just so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see how it all goes. I think the fact that they've shown this much stuff this early as well, amazing sign. Like, clearly the game is in a pretty good place if we're playing it 3 months early. That doesn't normally happen. That is definitely not... I mean, some zombies maps get started 3 months before launch. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's a slight exaggeration, but like pretty much. And
I mean, that's what a DLC season is, right? I mean, I don't know when they start work on it, but like that's in between the map releases. That's about what you got.
It's a tight turnaround, and so them having this much bandwidth or breathing room or whatever, like lead time or whatever the word would be to get that stuff out there this soon is it's music to my ears. It's a really positive sign.
Yeah.
And also kind of makes me think like, bro, we're going to get like another year of zombies next year. Like, what if, bro?
Oh my God. That would be incredible.
Yeah. Because if they're ahead,
incredible. Oh my God.
Like, what are they getting ahead for?
Uh-huh.
They got something else
what's
in
the point?
pipeline. Is it Chronicles 2? Like, what's it going to be?
Right. But I would like to imagine playing the new maps on like the new gameplay engine. Would people like or dislike that? What do you think?
Ooh.
Because like imagine playing Shangri-La but with
all
of these new systems that help you in game. New movement systems, new things like that. Do you think they would ever do something like that?
But
do you think they would ever?
You'd also have
bring those
armor.
Old maps to the new. Yeah, the armor systems. I don't know. How would they do that? Because like you still wouldn't have the free movement of zombies because like you can't just jump off the bridge on Shangri-La and jump down to the waterfall, right?
Yeah.
It would be really cool if they made that a feature.
Wow, it would be
like
so
almost
different.
A reimagining.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't think they have to release like another Chronicles. I think it'd be really cool if they just reimagined all the old stuff. They almost did that with D Machine, right?
That's
kind of what that is. It's a reimagining of Noct.
Yeah. Man, that's got me wondering now. Like, yeah, if they remade all these old maps, we would like, where would they put the armor machine on buried?
I don't know.
Because
you have to go up to the surface.
Completely change the flow of the map.
Yeah, right. Like, what are you going into the mansion to get? It's just There's so many things, like so many questions for how the gameplay worked on these old maps, and like how would you bring it to the new game? Would they just revert to how the old maps played? Probably, but like they did that in Black Ops 3. And
I don't know if they would revert it though, because
no, I don't think so.
I think they would
Maybe
be
not.
scared to unlearn all of the teaching that they've done for the community of how the new systems behave.
Right, that's fair. That's really fair. I think, you know, I mean, I guess they've done it once with Black Ops 3 and using the old systems. It's just like how Black Ops 3 played. But yeah, how I don't know. How would they bring that over? That's why it's interesting to me, because it's like, would they just reimagine the maps this time around? Like, you wouldn't get the 1-to-1. I feel like that actually quite drastically impacts the idea of a Chronicles 2. Yeah.
It makes me think that it just can't happen. Like, not in that conception. Not like a 8 zombies maps as you remember them. Like, wow, that's super, super strange. I mean, like, imagine if they tried to do it in Black Ops 4 without Jug.
Yeah, right. You just don't have Jug.
Yeah.
You don't have any of the classic perks. That'd be so weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
So that'll be something that we have the pleasure of navigating maybe in 12 months time.
Maybe.
You know, if they are cooking something like that up, I mean, and in the meantime as well, like obviously with launch content, because we're going to have 2 maps on launch, what that's going to mean, and you guys watching videos on the channel, I want you guys to be sort of prepared for this. Like, we're going to be juggling so much stuff. We're probably going to be in a scenario where like Joe is probably going to do some videos with just him.
Yeah.
And it's going to be probably some live com type stuff.
Some live com type stuff. Some maybe covering news or something, or maybe there's just a lot going on launch day. Maybe I end up doing a guide or something.
Yeah.
Maybe something gets discovered. Like I'm going to be very present at launch and like soon after launch, just because of how many different projects are going to be going on.
Yeah.
And when Milo was out in the woods, I had to do 2 news videos for the channel, and they did
Really?
They did okay. Yeah, so I did 2 news videos because they dropped new teasers on the website.
Oh, is that the one where you told me? Oh no, I'm thinking of something else.
What?
Months ago, you did a Modern Warfare 3 Zombies video, right?
I did.
And
I did.
The comment section was all like, "Have you hacked Milo's channel? Like, who is this man?"
yeah. I did a Modern Warfare Zombies live com. But like we didn't tell anybody where you were, I don't think.
Yeah, I think
there might
you're
have
right.
been like a little thing like, oh, Milo's on a ski trip right now, just on screen.
Yeah.
But like you didn't tell your audience what was going on. I didn't explain it in my voice. I just had a little disclaimer on the screen. And people are like, what the hell's going on? Like, who are you? Which is fine. Like that's completely valid. They subscribe to Milo.
Yeah. Was that reaction there for the forest stuff?
No, because like I kind of explained what was going on, so it was a little bit different of a reaction. They're like, "Oh, we want to have Milo's take on this thing."
Okay.
As well as like, "Oh, it would be really exciting if Milo was back, so that we can hear his POV on all this stuff."
Yeah.
Because like you are an expert in that, and like I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not you. Like that's just not how it works.
Yep.
So yeah, it was like that type of reaction, but it was different because they knew what was going on. So it was easier to keep people in a little bit. So like hopefully like with this, some of the diehards listening this late, like they'll understand and be able to spread the word when I start doing stuff. If everybody is confused, like you guys can help out in letting them know that I'm just like here to help and I work for Milo and like we've been friends or something.
That would be really useful actually, because I don't want to like post a guide or something and Joe's done voiceover for it, and then for people to like dislike the video because they think that it's a hacker.
yeah. It's like who? Where did this guy come from? He just posted on Milo's channel. Like,
It's like, no, guys, I've given the green light to this. Like, I want this to happen because maybe I'm busy streaming.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something that happens quite a lot. Like, I'll be busy on stream, and maybe I'll be in comms with another person, so I can't exactly just be like, hold on. Like pull a random person out my head, like, hey Liam, if you're streaming zombies, which obviously won't happen, but like if we were streaming zombies together, shut up for a minute. I need to. Hi guys, here's how you do this side Easter egg on a different map to the one I'm playing right now. Let's go. Like, it would be super weird.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it just makes more sense to integrate a little bit more and for me to take over those projects.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be around, guys. You're gonna have to get used to me. I'm sorry. I hope you like me, but
there is definitely more Conway content on the way.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, I want to see more support in the comment sections of the Joey Conway videos, because like you're putting yourself out there in a way that is not like I live and breathe this obviously day to day. You don't, and so like you're putting yourself in a not like a compromised position. That's definitely not the word I'm looking for, but
it's not like vulnerable, but
it's almost in that direction of it's different. It's new for you. You're putting yourself out there in a way. There's sort of a bit of a leap of faith happening. And
I mean, like for context for my past is like I did this stuff until I was like 16, 17, and that's when I fizzled out. So like my presence on the internet and like putting stuff out there as a main focus for me ended before I was 18. And then like, I was still doing stuff, but never face cam. Nobody ever saw my face.
Right.
Huh?
I just said,
you said
right. Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
why?
realize that.
Why? Yeah. So I never had, why would you do such a thing? Yeah, so my face was never out there. I wasn't on like any profile pictures or anything like that, and then when I did some streaming for like a month or so, and I did use a face cam. That was really the first time that I was putting myself out there with my image.
Yeah.
So then jumping into your content and just like doing the Dias Cast stuff and going to the beach and like doing this whole thing on camera and going onto some videos on camera, doing this podcast now.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of new stuff for me. But I don't
support Joey Conway.
Yeah, that is support me, lads. Thank you.
Support Joey Conway.
I'm not like completely uncomfortable. It's just I'm learning how to get used to this dynamic in a way that I've never done before.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's like it's maybe easily understood by saying, like, imagine you listening to this video, whoever you may be. Imagine if I was like, hey, I need you to record a video for me now that needs to be to my quality level, my standards, and 100,000 people are going to see that it's not a Milo video, but it's this replacement person, and they're going to scrutinize it that much more.
Yeah.
That's obviously a lot of pressure, right? So I want to make sure that we're supporting Joe through the pressure cooker that I'm putting him through that.
Lads. Yeah.
It should be fun. I think that there's room for it to really be just sort of something that the overall audience of the channel really sort of gets behind. I really hope that it can be a treat when it's a Joey video. I think that would be really cool because like especially live com stuff. Like if I'm on stream, I can't do a live com playing a different map.
Right.
And a lot of the time also live coms are the best way. Like even if there's not, you don't need my opinion for a live com to still be useful, because live comms are often best for showing like a new strat, for example.
Gameplay.
Some kind of gameplay focused thing. Joe is a better zombies player than I am, and so
it's no secret.
Yeah, you're probably in better hands with Joey Conway for those videos.
It's no secret. Yeah, like back in Cold War, we were doing like round 100 guides, and it's like, are we gonna send Milo into the game and make this poor guy hit round 100?
Yeah,
I think he tried on stream a few times with the strats I was doing.
I think, but like literally like once.
Okay, you did.
Yeah,
yeah.
There was one match that I did. I was in co-op. There were a few of the other zombies guys. I think some of them left, and we went to like maybe 50 together on the roof of the D machine. And then I think I did one stream where I hit 50 on Firebase Z, and I think that was all the high roundy type streams I ever did for that game.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's such a time investment as well. Like for me, at the top of the operation, it's almost like a bad spend of time. But anyway, go ahead. You were going to make a point.
No, it is. I was just saying how, like, you guys are going to be happy that I'm doing some live comms, and you're not going to, I'm hopefully not going to die when I'm doing them. Things happen, quite famously, not famously, but like when I used to stream maps on launch, like I would just go and stream like Rise and Drag first attempt, whatever it is, die in round 2. And it's like, dude, like what's going on here? I would die in round 2 on like every map.
Dude, it's different though. As soon as you turn stream on, it affects you so much. Like I would be so much better at zombies if I just didn't have stream on. If I was just playing to play. But I'm really bad at talking to chat and actually being good at zombies.
Juggling that is very difficult, and like trying to form a coherent sentence while also just like trying to do something in the map or showcase something. It's a challenge, man. And I struggle with that a little bit. So like it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get the live comms going at first, but I think it's going to be fun.
Maybe we should do a 1 or 2 before launch. Maybe we should get like, maybe on an old map, like not Modern Warfare 3, like just go back to DE maybe, because that's a map you know really well.
I used to speedrun that.
Was that really the month of streaming? Was that speedrunning DE?
No, the month of streaming I did stream a few times on YouTube, and like I was doing some Black Ops 3 high round streams and speedrun stuff. But that was like few far between. But come like a few years ago, I was doing some streams on Twitch, and like me and Liam were doing a lot of stuff together.
Oh, you guys were playing on Cold War.
Me and Liam did. We didn't even do like Call of Duty stuff. We would just do like Facecam stream into like some event with chat into some game. Like me and Liam played Left 4 Dead at the same time. We did a little event stream together. It was really cool.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that was different. So yeah, I never did like the zombie stuff beyond like Black Ops 3 on stream.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's
like I was.
that's a throwback to that little window of those sort of event streams with Liam.
Yeah, those were so much fun. They're really a good time. You know, back in the day, we were doing like a speed run in Left 4 Dead No Mercy, which is like the first ever Left 4 Dead mission. And we raced each other on stream because he was just talking crap. He's like, "You're never gonna beat my record." So then we're like, "All right, well, let's set the record straight."
Yep.
And I beat him live on stream.
Wait, so, did you?
Yeah, yeah, I beat him. And he had to give a few speeches on his stream about it. He had to apologize profusely. You know, it was a whole thing.
Hell yeah.
It was a running joke for a while. So that was really fun. That was like the highlight of my streaming career. Which is quite funny.
I look back on all of our content outputs, like all of us as individuals, from the last decade, and like Liam's discography, his output, his sort of work, whatever you'd call it, sort of record is I think one of the coolest in the space.
It is.
He's just such a creative person, and I love how he has chosen to lean into that over the years, as opposed to like just doing the same thing over and over again purely because he knows it works. He's a talented guy.
Yeah, he can't do one thing for too long. I think he needs to move on, find some new creative juices, and just he finds a new project for himself eventually, you know. He's also one of those people that kind of fizzled out and just started working for other people. You know, he was working for you a little bit, like with me, and now just like thumbnails primarily. But like Liam also found himself being like somewhat creative and like having some ideas and like just jumping in at different times and like doing something really cool and then stepping out and then doing something really cool and then stepping out and coming back. So I'm curious if he does anything soon again. Because he is somebody I really enjoy to kind of get ideas from and like some sort of creative inspiration from, because there's a lot of things that he's thought of that I'm like, who's doing this? Nobody's doing this,
literally, dude. And I feel like over the years I've talked to him and often gotten a viewpoint or a mindset that I feel like I can't get it anywhere else. And sometimes it's not even related to creativity or related to work. It's just like there have been times over the years where I've been having a tough time or whatever, and like all my other friends have said one thing, and then Liam has just had a different way to say something else that's just like, it's unique and it hits in a different way, and in a way that I've really respected that about him forever, actually.
He can really resonate with people, and I don't know anyone that doesn't like Liam that's met Liam.
So true.
He's just a good dude. He's a good dude. He's fun to be around, easy to talk to, really respectful, and really cares about the people in his life. So yeah, Liam is a great person, and I'm gonna be seeing him soon.
Oh hell yeah! Oh nice.
I'm gonna be seeing him soon. He's actually coming here to visit some people in Philly.
Oh, and dude, amazing.
He's coming with Kaylee.
Sick.
So yeah, he's coming here, and he's gonna come over to my house for a day.
Hell yeah!
It's kind of nearby. I'm in Jersey, so
that's actually another thing which folks listening might be surprised to hear, is that I went to Joe's house for the first time ever.
He did
last year.
Last year, yep.
Having known each other for how long?
Yeah, right. Since 2011, you have not been over my house. I've been over to yours.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, the Black Ops 4 house, but
yeah,
man, it's wild to think about. So it's cool. Liam's making the pilgrimage as well. That's
everybody has to at some point. All my internet friends, I'm coming over my house.
Yeah, I was about to say it seems to be like a little nexus where like they congregate, and it's nice because that's another thing that's been difficult with our friend group over the years, actually, is like how spread out everyone is. Like even in the UK, Liam is the opposite side of the country to me. You've got you on the East Coast, you've got a whole bunch of guys on the West Coast now, but and then you've got like other people in Canada, but historically over the years, it hasn't just been East Coast and West Coast. There's also been like JC in Alabama, like
what
stuff like that, and like Chop in Ohio, right? Like there's a whole bunch of folks that you only really see them when there's an event or when there's it's basically it's an event, whether it's an event that we've put on ourselves, like sort of hanging out at Joe's house, or it's like a Treyarch capture event or something like that. And those have been fewer and further between over the years, and I miss them, man. I miss the closeness that we once had based on the volume of events that happened, because nowadays, like, people live different lives, they're doing different things in different corners of the earth, and it's just hard to keep in touch sometimes.
And one of those events, you're not going to be interacting with anyone in a few days, you're not going to get one of those experiences again. And also the fact that people have moved into different areas now means that, like, Liam being at like a 3x not 3x, what was it called, COD XP, that was like amazing, right? But nowadays, those sorts of things, like, when is that ever going to happen again? I don't know if it is. So yeah, I will always look back on the sort of last 10 years of my life through that lens, and look back on it really fondly as being, I think we were really lucky to have that much overlap with each other in the way that we did. And now that we no longer have that, I really recognize how good we had it, kind of thing. Yeah. It always feels that way, right? It always gets to that point.
Yep.
With anything in life. But yeah, I never went to any of the capture events. They always seem so much fun though. It's like so many people just like in the same space, talking, nerding out about the same thing, hanging out. It always sounded like a great time.
It's just one of the rare opportunities to actually see people physically, right? So
especially people that you're not really close with.
And to allow you to bond as well. And like, it was weird. Like, this most recent event, the Treyarch event that I got invited to, my first event with Activision in 5 years. And like, for context for people listening, like, my first ever Activision event was like 2013. It was over a decade ago. And then they just had a period where they just said, we hate Milo. And that kind of came to a close, I guess, with this invite to this Treyarch event, or at least it came to a close in some regard. And it was weird because they're so different now. The way they do those events, totally different vibe, totally different energy. Like, much more corporate in many ways. And yet, even so, it was a chance to see a couple of other Zombies YouTubers. It was a chance to meet some other folks that aren't Zombies YouTubers, but were still invited to the Zombies event. And it was just like, oh, Mr. Charlie Intel, nice to see you again. It's been 5 years. It's awesome to reconnect. Kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like, those sorts of moments are always, you don't realize you're missing them, and then it happens again, and you're like, oh wait, yeah, this is a whole person that I enjoy hanging out with, who, because I've not been going to these events, I've like not physically seen since the last event 5 years ago. And it also sort of makes you realize how ostracizing it is to not be invited to stuff. Like, some of these people in the community, they're my closest friends, and the only opportunity I have to hang out with these people is through these events and to network in these spaces. And to not be invited is to really sort of cut into the friendship in many ways, because you just don't have that contact with those people. So I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, that as things progress with Black Ops 6 and then whatever comes after that, the kind of days of being outside the fold are a little bit behind us. But I think that Activision's approach to invites and the way that works these days has changed so much that, like, I'm not going to COD Next, and COD Next is now. And to me, that would make total sense for me to be invited to, but that clearly is not the Activision sort of focus right now. That is not their desire for whatever reason. So it's weird.
If they decide last minute to send you, I can go take a drive. I can go drive over.
Honestly, maybe I should have mentioned that to someone. Maybe I should have been like, you don't need to fly me out. I got a guy, like, I got a man in town and he's ready to go.
It's like a 3-hour drive. It's not even a big deal.
Can you imagine how wild it would have been if the event starts and I go live and it's like live from Call of Duty Next and my channel's like, what? Like, what's going on? And then the webcam turns on and it's Joey Conway.
That would be so hilarious though. Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
That would be so funny.
I'm going to send them an email and I'm going to be like, listen, it's last minute, but what if?
I have an idea, guys.
Yeah.
This could really work out.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, on that note, there's a lot of fun stuff in the pipeline coming on the channel in the next few days, weeks, months, etc. Yeah. One of the things that I want to do is I want to keep these podcasts going a little bit more so that you lovely folks watching have a little bit more of a window into me and Joe and the other folks that are kind of involved in the process here, and just generally like give you an opportunity to not just interact with Milo's brain when Milo's brain is explaining an Easter egg. Like, there's so much more to me as a human. And yeah, I know, crazy, right?
No way.
And I feel like I've kind of avoided really leaning into that as a content vertical over the years because I've just been so busy with the other stuff. But I feel like it would be nice to nurture that relationship a little bit more between us. So I'm hoping the podcast is going to help that just a little bit. Just go a small way towards it. So you can expect more podcasts. I'd love guest recommendations in the comment section. If there's a specific guest that you would love to have on. Previous guests that I've included on the podcast have not necessarily been zombies people. So I've talked to the Act Man, for example. We had Stod, who does like Warzone and other games as well, but like a lot of Warzone type content. Joe obviously is not a zombies YouTuber, but he's making zombies YouTube videos. But yeah, if there's anyone else that you guys have in mind from other communities or whatever, that would be awesome. Just leave a recommendation in the comment section. And I think that pretty much covers it. Have we missed anything, Joe?
I don't think so. We got everything, man.
Okay. Hell yeah. The last thing I'll say then is if you want Joe to come back and talk about another topic also, actually, then feel free, let us know. Then that's something we can arrange.
I'm down.
Make it happen.
We also can talk more about your channel too. I don't care. We can go even more depth.
Yeah. If you guys want more behind the scenes on the operation and how we make it happen and how we churn out as many videos as we do and stuff like that, there's a whole decade of business building that's gone into it. So there's plenty of stuff to talk about that. The way that we even strategize with the YouTube videos is a whole thing.
Yeah.
Last year I did the Gaming Creator Accelerator with Zygo. We had a couple dozen people come in, 8-week course where I just taught them to make the best possible YouTube videos they could possibly make, to sort of like fast track them from like low hundreds of views per video to being able to sort of conceivably think about going full time at some point.
We encountered some in the wild during Modern Warfare Zombies.
Yeah, actually.
We saw some big videos there that we were researching.
Yeah. We were researching zombies videos and saw videos from folks that were in the accelerator and were using the strats that I had taught them in the accelerator, and it was working and they were popping off. They were getting hundreds of thousands of views. So yeah, that was really, really wholesome to see. And we could talk about that sort of stuff more as well. Maybe I'll see if there's like a link in the description I could drop to like a mailing list as well, if you guys want to kind of keep up on that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a lot we could talk about here. Sky's the limit. But for the time being, I wanted to more formally introduce Joe and just sort of set the scene for the content we have coming in the next months, years, all that
years.
Sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Very last thing I will say is these U2's figures are still on sale. And the way it works is you click the link in the description, You can buy one of these with discount code Milo. You'll get some money off. But crucially, it's important to understand, these are a pre-order right now. They will ship all in one go slightly later this year towards the launch of the game. So if you get your pre-order in, that will mean that you're guaranteed to get one, because I think the numbers are limited, I think. And yeah, you can use discount code Milo if you would like one of these ones. There's a Pack-a-Punch machine, there's a ray gun type thing, there's a whole bunch of different figures that they've got, Juggernog machine, stuff like that too. So yeah, links in the description. Make sure to use code Milo, and Joe and I will see you very soon with our next videos, which we'll both be working on today. So.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Goodbye, guys. Thanks for listening to us.
Hell yeah. See you guys soon. Bye for now.